is that the doubters are always the loudest from the outside. I heard him when I was racing, and I hear him now with my team. But here's what I can confidently say. Anyone who doubts us doesn't really know us.
Everybody who doubted us doesn't know us.
Because this team was founded by two renegades who do things their way. You see, Gene and I don't just welcome challenges, we seek them out. The reality is, to understand SHR, you have to understand our history. Gene and I joined forces in 2009. Yeah, we were an unlikely pair at first. I get it. People thought I was crazy for leaving a championship-winning team. And people probably never expected that I'd be the guy Gene would bring on board.
This one's for every one of those fans in the stands that pull for me every week and take all the bullshit from everybody else.
But what I saw in Gene Haas was a guy who relentlessly chased innovation. He started a business in his garage in 1983, nothing but a dream, and turned it into a global company. And what Gene saw in me was a racer who relentlessly chased winning. Like my hero AJ Foyt, if I got in a car, you better not bet against me. Gene brought innovation, I brought racers. From the start of Stewart Haas Racing, the goal's been simple: hang banners. We knew the road wouldn't be easy, but we also believed in our vision. We hired the best and most badass racers to drive and build our race cars. If you were aggressive in pursuits, unpretentious in your approach, unapologetic about yourself, and relentless in your efforts, we wanted you. Together, we rolled up our sleeves. We did things our way. We won in just our 12th race as an organization, and damn, it felt good when that vision paid off. From there, I think our history speaks for itself.
Tony Stewart's going to take that team to victory lane. Tony Stewart wins it. Ryan Newman wins the Brickyard.
Oh, man.
He knocks the boss off the pole.
Yes.
And he's in to compete for a championship. Checkered flag at Phoenix for Kevin Harvick.
Kurt Busch wins the Daytona 500. Clint Boyer wins Martinsville.
1, 2, 3 for Stewart Haas Racing.
All but 2 green flag laps today. And he can hear the driving for his boyhood idol, Tony Stewart, Chase Briscoe, Riley Hurst.
Everybody said I can't do it. I just flat out just beat them.
Today, Cole Custer is an Xfinity Series champion.
He's going to win the race and the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship. California's Kevin Harvick does it. And he's going to become a 3-time NASCAR Sprint Cup champion. Tony Stewart wins it.
This is the man right here, Tony Stewart.
Those are the moments that we work for. It's not just about the wins, though. It's about the racers who've done it for us.
Ben Fender's hurt feelings. I love it.
Warrior and Stupid going at it.
Oh, he's going to spin Diddy. Diddy is spun out.
And while we're entering a new era at Stewart Haas Racing, I want to make one thing clear. These are the moments we continue to work for. I understand performance hasn't been where we want it to be, but as racers, we'll never lose the ambition to win, and the performance doesn't reflect what we stand for. That vision Gene and I built in 2009 is the same vision we have today. I know the racers we have and the people we hire. Everything we need is in this building, and I can tell you that winning isn't just some smoky ambition for us. Our edge, our desire, our relentless ways, these things remain the same. We aren't here to entertain. We're not here for the hype. We don't have to prove our legacy. We're here to elevate racing and to win, because we are a bunch of racers.
Welcome into Stuck in the Catchfence. My name is Ryan Peters. Stewart Haas has decided to rebrand its new image, and looks like from a organizational standpoint from the bosses, let everybody know that they are not a thing of the past. They are a thing of the present and hopefully the moving future as well. So I wanted to talk to you about that and kind of get your guys' thoughts and input with it as well. Been a lot of noise, and even Tony Stewart and Stewart Haas Racing, Gene Haas, have recognized that there has been a ton of noise when it comes to, number one, their performance, when it comes to what they've done hiring new drivers, losing Kevin Harvick, and since Tony Stewart's really retired, how they were one of the pinnacles in racing, the Alpha group, probably the best group at Ford, more so than Penske, and all that's really changed here recently. So it's been a little bit. We've talked about Stewart Haas for a while, but I'm wanting to know what your temperature is when it comes to this, and seeing this type of new leadership approach and new vision, new model. Because at the end of the day, Tony Stewart's one of the best known brands out there in terms of racing. He's kind of like Kyle Larson before Kyle Larson. He raced Indy cars, he races dirt, he owns a track, he owns series. Everything that Tony Stewart does is what Kyle Larson is trying to do now. I got respect for Tony Stewart. I got his car down here, an autograph over here, an autograph picture over there. He's an Indiana boy, so uh, yeah, I'm all about what Tony Stewart has done for the product, and more importantly, what he has done for NASCAR itself in terms of being entertaining and continuing his legacy in the brand of NASCAR, to continue to build young racers, to continue to understand its history, and also continue to build just the love of motorsports that he has. Now, what we've seen with SHR is a complete change when it comes to how competitive they've been here recently. Kevin Harvick went from somebody that a lot of people thought should change the playoff system because of how many races he's won and didn't make the final four just a few years ago, to now he really had a hard time even trying to get into victory lane. And if it wasn't Kevin Harvick, it's kind of a one-off from Chase Briscoe, who last year, my bold prediction said he'd be in the final four, because I thought, you know, he would take a step forward, but Stewart Haas as a whole took a ginormous step back. When it comes to Gene Haas, not really around as much as what people thought. When it comes to Tony Stewart, he's up in the booth. He's racing now in the NHRA. He's not really present the same way that, say, a Michael Jordan has been. A lot of people have drawn their conclusions based upon the things that we have and have not seen coming from Stewart Haas. So, did Tony Stewart and Gene Haas owe a commitment, owe a message to their fans? I don't know if they owe it. Like he said, they've done really good things. They won in their 12th race. They are championship level. But I think it's also naive to say that everything's just going great, because it's not. And I think what the best teams do, the best, most competitive people do, is when they're at their lowest, they use something to fuel them. I think about Kyle Busch whenever he was not winning nearly as much for Joe Gibbs Racing, and got let go, and he ended up going to RCR, and a lot of people thought that was a downgrade. And it was a downgrade. And would we ever see the Kyle Busch that we ever knew before? And then he got his first win for RCR in the second race of the year, and even himself, he said he doubted it at times if he'd get back there. Is he still that same Kyle Busch? He needed something to fuel him to get that fire back instead of being comfortable anymore. Because that's what all the really good athletes do. They need that little bit of push. Sometimes in life we get stagnant. We get okay sitting on our laurels because, well, we've just done the same thing over and over again. We've been successful. We don't really have that innovation that got us to where we are now. The rare instances, a Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, have that fuel with them every single day of their lives. But the others, once they hit that fat check, it's, I'm out. That's a lot of athletes. I mean, think about some of the athletes that you really, really like. I'm kind of concerned, is that what's going to happen with Chase Elliott? I think this year we'll know if he has that fire, now that he's had a year where he, by any means, had a catastrophic year. Does he have that fire? Well, I don't think we need to question Tony Stewart's fire per se, his competitiveness. It is from as a driver, but now as an owner, he has been tested. And we've seen the hirings, Josh Berry, Noah Gragson. Do they really move the needle in terms of winning championships? Ryan Preece, um, Chase Briscoe. Does anybody think that that's a championship caliber 4-man roster? No, I don't think that anybody's going to think that they have a chance to win a championship, but they should be a hell of a lot more competitive. On the other side, you look at the Xfinity side, and Cole Custer was one of the best drivers the entire year last year, ended up winning the Xfinity championship. So they're not that far off. I think the biggest thing, and they're a little behind the 8 ball in terms of what Ford's helped them with, is the new Dark Horse program with the brand new car. A brand new car may shore up a lot of things that were not in Stewart-Haas Racing's favor. That just simply may be what the difference is. But at the end of the day, they had to do something. And you can say, why are you doubting us? Why are you doing this? And at the same time, Tony Stewart and Gene Haas go, yeah, they shouldn't doubt us. They shouldn't look back on our history and think that we're now done. But we also need to move forward as well. There is a changing of the guard, losing Tony Stewart and Kevin Harvick now, no longer running that as NASCAR Hall of Famers in those race cars. So that's what they did. You got the new logo. They even put it out. The blue stands for the banner blue. The white stands for the smoke white, which is pretty cool. And then my favorite, the black stands for the badass black. So they have taken a vision and saying, yeah, our history speaks for itself. But we also recognize we need a new vision and we need some innovation within ourselves. And maybe Noah Gragson's that. The information came out that um essentially Legacy Motor Club was being treated like a single A ball club for Chevy. So maybe Noah Gragson is a hell of a lot better than what we thought he was, because Legacy Motor Club was getting treated, like the stepchildren. So maybe Noah Gragson will show market improvement this year compared to what he was last year. Maybe that's the type of pep that they need. Maybe Josh Berry, who has looked very competent in cars last year, filling in for Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott. Maybe he's the type of guiding light that they need. Maybe Ryan Preece, who had some speed at some short tracks, finds a way to get into victory lane at like a Martinsville or something of that. And Iowa would be a good track for him as well. And then you got Chase Briscoe, who, probably is the best driver out of all of them. He could easily win Phoenix again the way that he did before, or have a chance to win Bristol. Maybe not because it's dirt. It's not dirt now, but there is talent there. But we look at the echelon of what Stewart-Haas was, the number one organization in Ford. I think it's safe to say that Penske's easily passed them up. They've got the last 2 championships, and RFK Racing is well on their way to passing them up too, because they had a driver win 3 races in a row last year, and Christopher Buescher. This might just be the perfect storm for Tony Stewart, for Gene Haas, but I want to see Tony Stewart more involved. Gene Haas, he's got all of his stuff. He's got his company. He's got Formula One, where they're used to finishing last all the time anyway. They need to get back into their roots of the NASCAR team, because this is the most competitive NASCAR has been. I'll make a video on that, what I think 2024 is going to be. This is the most competitive car that NASCAR's had to give to all 3 manufacturers when it comes to the single source parts and things of that nature. The new Dark Mustang may be the answer for Ford to compete consistently with Chevy and with Toyota. But Toyota's getting a new car too. I think it was time to look in the mirror, say we're not happy with our results, and identify that something's got to change, but also recognize we're also the same group of people that have hung all these banners from race wins and have put championship trophies in some of these shelves. I'm starting to get slightly optimistic about Stewart-Haas. Do I still think they're the 3rd best Ford team? Probably. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them punching a little bit above their weight. But when are they going to come back as the undisputed king in Ford with the blue oval? That might take a little bit more time. Appreciate you guys. Sorry I've not been able to put out videos. If you can tell, no, I am not the press secretary for Robert Kennedy. I have had bronchitis. I posted a while back that I have been really sick since right before Christmas, and it has been very difficult for me to post or even get out of bed sometimes. So I thank you for hanging with me. Probably going to do a live stream here very, very soon. If not this week, the next. Got some ideas popping out. Just again, have not been well enough to put them out, but I think I'm on the upswing. Due to some steroids and antibiotics. But again, thank you guys. If you want to subscribe to the channel, share this video out for other people that love NASCAR and continue this conversation as well. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.